May the 4th be with you. This is a Rebel Scum podcast. And as always, I'm James, joined along with Brock.
Yep.
And Andrew Fantasia. They have been clamoring for more Andrew, and so we decided to...
By they, you mean Brock.
Yeah.
I get text messages from Brock daily, almost hourly. When can Fantasia come over? And it's
where is Andrew?
Yeah,
when is he coming over? When are we getting the pretzel money?
And I'm just like, you do what you want. Invite him over. So he invites you over every once in a while for a game of euchre, and you decline because it is not briscola. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
Well, guys, this is the Rebels Cup podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe. We talk all things Star Wars right here. Earlier today, though, I was reminiscing about days of past, and I was thinking about Star Wars Day today, obviously May 4th. And one of the things that struck me was, Andrew, you just got back from Star Wars Celebration. You woke up, I think, 13 days ago. Like 13 hours ago, actually, I should say. You just woke up. So I was thinking, was it a missed opportunity? Today is a Saturday, and it's Star Wars Day on a Saturday. Was it a missed opportunity for... Reed Pop, Lucasfilm, whoever puts this thing together, to not have Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 during Star Wars Day on Star Wars weekend?
I don't think it was a missed opportunity this year because they probably wanted to drop that trailer sooner rather than later. But next year, do it.
Yeah.
Brock?
Yeah, that's good. It's going to be great. Like Anaheim, Galaxy's Edge will have been open for about a year. To have it on our made-up holiday of Star Wars, May the 4th and May the 5th, that's great. Like Star Wars, as much Star Wars, make it a thing. And, you'll pull in people that may not go to it. It's like, oh, this is fun. Yeah. Star Wars everywhere.
Yeah,
so,
I'm totally down for it. We don't know we don't have dates yet for next year, so there's a huge plausibility, even I would say maybe even a probability that that's what they're going to do. Because I was thinking, when are they going to do it? Will it be April, like the last 3 American ones have been in April, or will it be July, like the last one in Europe? Or I was talking to you guys before, will it be maybe possibly in the fall when they can hype up things that are coming? Because nothing has really been. We don't know what the future of Star Wars is aside from The Mandalorian. Like, Star Wars ends with the first season of The Mandalorian. That's all we know right now.
Yeah, that's it. Then Disney is giving up the rights.
Yeah, and then it goes to Fox. What? Anyway, so that was just something that kind of sparked to my mind. It would be cool that if we could all celebrate Star Wars Day at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Quick side, Akbar, do you think Disney would have saved money if they would have waited and bought Fox along with Star Wars as a package? Or do you think they spent more money buying them separately?
Well, Fox didn't own Star Wars. I think they just owned A New Hope. So yeah, I think that's how it is. I think because Lucasfilm owned it, and I think because when the prequels came out, Lucas just kind of allowed Fox to distribute it. I think George Lucas was like, well, we'll keep the continuity around because of the fan, So I think that's actually what happened, because George Lucas is worth gazillions of dollars even today, so he does what he wants.
He does.
He does. Brock, are you doing a fast pass for Galaxy's Edge coming up? Because you're huge.
Are you crazy? That's what, in 2 days? What was it, May 1st?
It was a couple days
ago. It's already happened.
Yeah,
that's
well,
right.
I don't think you're eligible anyway to get in on that, were you? Can anyone do it?
I think everyone sort of has a dibs on it, but I think if you've already booked your hotel, you're slightly, I know, it seems very confusing, though. I think we talked to someone that will have a little bit more information. But because again, as much as I would love to go, when I do go to California, which hopefully will be in July, that'll be done-ish, and I'll just take my chances. I mean, I'm going to try to go there because I've already convinced my girlfriend to go. Well, I didn't convince her. She loves Star Wars just as much as I do. So it's like, yeah, we'll go.
You think there's the first human being, as soon as Galaxy's Edge opens, the first human being to walk through the gates and enter, Do you think they get like a medal or something, like a button that says, I was the first person to visit Galaxy's Edge?
Disney does love their buttons where it's like, my first visit.
Yeah, they're actually...
my 7th visit.
Yeah, you turned my attention to that, Brock. And they were like free. I was like, all right, I'll go spend $5 on a button, first trip to Disney. I was like, how much is it? And they're like, oh, it's going to cost you $3.99. And I said, I don't like your jokes. Give me 3 buttons. Also, and then I got my sister-in-law a happy birthday one. That pissed her off. It was awesome. I was really hoping we'd get something for free, but we just got smiles.
Yeah, I mean, no, that'd be cool. I'm sure the second you walk through those doors, they get some kind of fun swag. Of sort of like, it would be, though, the second you said metal, though, it's like, New Hope.
Yeah, well, that New Hope medal might be known as the Rise of Skywalker medal to the new generation of fans, because it's appearing in Rise of Skywalker. Don't say Episode 9, because that goes towards our Anaheim 2020 fund. We put $2 in the basket every time we say it. Before we get into everything, just got to remind everybody that Monday nights we do our live stream. Come blizzard or not, we will do the live streams. At some point during them, my internet will stop working. Because it's like death taxes, and in the middle of a live stream, my internet will stop. Yeah, I will watch Lord of the Rings on Netflix if it's on Netflix. I'll watch Lord of the Rings nonstop, streaming it. It'll be fine. But we'll try to do a 45-minute to an hour-long stream.
No.
And it's like, screw you, rebel scum. And it hangs up the phone. Because I use dial-up. That's
Captain Phasma is your service provider.
It's absolutely true. I think you just froze when you said that. It's like it knows I'm bad-mouthing the internet, and so it's taking it away. So live streams every Monday. Check those out. There's a reason why they're on Monday, and we will announce that later on. Not today. Like later on, as in the next generation. I haven't told anybody why they're on Mondays except for Luke Skywalker, who is dead now.
So you're pulling a Filoni right now.
Yeah, I should have worn my cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Did you see him walk the floor at all at Celebration?
I didn't see like celebrities walking the floor. I didn't see people that I knew like walking the floor. I didn't see Collider.
Stop yourself. You were walking the floor.
Hey-o.
Yes, you were there.
I did see Rebel Watch, though, and they're amazing.
That's so
cool. I
consistently
bumped into Rebel Watch, and they were just so much fun to talk to.
That's weird. Did you bump into like Josh or anyone?
Yes. When I was waiting to hear your response about a T-shirt, I was like, James, do you want this T-shirt? And as I'm standing there waiting, I just see Josh walk by and be like, Mr. Fantasia, and I'm like, oh. That was the other run-in that I had. And he was with Alfred Schuler and everything, but that was it. Like I was expecting it to be like a nonstop parade of like people I recognized.
Not like when we went in Orlando, or at least those were on the stage, but like outside of that.
Yeah, and even like Orlando, like every once in a while, I'd be like, oh, there goes Christian Harloff.
Yeah.
Here, no.
Yeah.
Everyone stayed hidden this time around. Also, guys, we should tell you quickly about our Patreon page. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. We have a bunch of different tiers with different things. You can watch. Andrew right now I think he has a video up there. I don't even know. We just show up every once in a while and we do things. And you get early access and a few special things. And contests, including a contest that we are going to be revealing the winner of later today, Brock.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell everybody what that contest is about?
The contest for the book?
Yeah. Well, we're revealing the winner will be announced for this book.
All right. So we're going to draw for that. Let me just get my notes out here so I read it properly.
We're not drawing until later, but we're going to but we're going to be a winner of this. Look, if you're watching in 3D, this is, I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember when Home Improvement, when Tim Allen was in 3D and they had the piece of wood and they were like, woo, woo. And because you bought that like chocolate bar that did not last past that, you got 3D glasses. That's the thing. Anyway, Patreons, you can win that book right there. We have other cool contests coming out for Patreons in the near future as well. One of them might have to do with Star Wars Celebration.
Ooh.
Yeah. We might be giving away a pass for that to a Patreon subscriber as well. Right, Brock?
Okay. Yeah, cool. I've been waiting for you to stop talking so I could do that.
I see you on your phone. I'm like,
I
don't know if you're ready. You're on your phone. I was
Here,
like, okay.
the book.
I was doing the book to stall while you were reading. Is there something you wanted to say?
I don't know. I'm really not sure.
Do I just go to
Which contest do you want me to announce or draw do you want me to announce?
All
the
of
big
them.
one or the one or the book?
The big one.
The big one.
Okay.
We will be doing a draw for our patrons, and if you win, you're gonna win a pass to the Saturday pass for Celebration in Anaheim 2020 in May 5th. No, we don't know the date, but yes, we will get that out to you, and you will be going on the Rebel Scum dime. That just gets you in the door. It's a very small dime, so
yeah, the dime isn't for airfare. Because
Canadian dimes are not worth very much.
This is why we're putting a toonie in every time we say episode 9 and not Rise of Skywalker, so we can get this up and going. That should be a lot of fun. Andrew, like we said, just came back from Celebration Chicago. Any tidbits of information you want to share with everybody? Like maybe for people who haven't been there, looking forward to go, that they're like, well, what do I need to know?
Yeah. Number 1, don't be like me. Bring a backpack and a bottle of water. I learned the hard way.
What's wrong with you?
I literally walked into that convention center with nothing but a blazer and your microphone, thinking I was going to take on the world with no hydration.
You've been to this, and it wasn't even hot in Chicago, right?
It wasn't even hot at all.
You're special.
There was a blizzard on the last day you were there, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was like 4 days of wind, 1 day of blizzard, and then another day of wind.
Wind is coming in Chicago. No,
that sounds about right. All right, let's get into the actual show. This is the May 4th episode, so this is the happy-go-lucky May the 4th be with you, and all of that fun stuff going on. So let's talk about Kylo Ren, the happiest guy in the galaxy, because he is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and his mother is General Leia Organa. We don't know what kind of role General Leia Organa is going to have in this episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. I want to call it Rise of the Skywalker. Is there a chance that we will see Leia's passing in this film, and her passing will have huge consequences on all the new characters, specifically Kylo Ren? Brock?
I mean, we talked about this a little last episode, and I've said certain things, but now I live in this post-Avengers Endgame where we can kind of live in this point where people can just die suddenly.
I haven't seen it.
It's whatever. That's not a spoiler, or come back or whatever, and it just like it works. So it's and I'm sure this movie will be 3 hours long. But anyways,
it better.
I think it's doable. I even said to you last week, when I see the scene of Rey and Leia hugging, I'm like, oh, that's some like Leia's dead, and they're in some kind of weird like Force dimension where she can talk to her or something like that. That's what I look at. So I think she could die early on just because they're kind of painted into a corner, perhaps. I don't know what they have, what content they have or film, or because they're using old stuff, but I don't know what it's going to be. I could get on board for that she passes in the beginning and then guides Rey at some point later on. I like that idea.
Yeah,
Andrew.
The whole unused footage of Carrie that is apparently going to be in this movie. I'm so curious because like I wonder just how specific her lines were. Like, is she going to be dropping references being like, man, I can't wait till we blow up Starkiller Base, right, Han? Like what are her lines that they could possibly use? I think. I know this isn't Never Tell Me the Odds, but I think it's like a split down the middle, full Brock kind of chance that we might see her die. because there's the whole mindset of like, well, nobody wants to see Leia die because we already had to see Carrie die. Like, let's just let her death be something that happens afterwards in a book, whatever. But then at the same time, it would be kind of clumsy if the movie goes on for 2 hours and 59 minutes without really explaining why Leia's in it so infrequently. So it really could go either way for me, and either way would be fine. I don't really have a preference yet.
The one thing with Leia is, because Angie, you brought this up when we were doing the episode about recasting her, and there was one actress I did not want to recast her with whatsoever, and I stand by that comment. But the one thing was you kept saying, I don't know
what you have against Viola Davis, James.
I would be okay with that. The one thing you kept saying though was like, if they had a plan for Leia, don't alter that plan because of this. Don't change that. And I agree with that actually, except for the actress that you suggested. So the only thing is if they had a plan, that who knows what the plan was and who knows how far into this plan they were, because that would have been Colin Trevorrow, and then J.J. Abrams comes in. And so he has his own plan, and we don't know what his plan. Like when he wrote Force Awakens, I have this feeling in the back of his mind that he was like, I see it ending here. He might not have told anybody. It just might have been his own personal thing. Because when you write something, you have an idea of where you want it to go to some degree. But with her passing, and then when you watch The Last Jedi, there's a scene in The Last Jedi where Kylo Ren has the opportunity to take her out. And he hesitates, and then other fighters try to take her out. He hesitates on his mom. So the passing of Leia for me could have a massive impact on Kylo Ren altogether and would change the dynamic of his character entirely.
Was there, remind me of this because it's been a minute. Was there a scene in The Last Jedi of Kylo figuring out like, oh, my mom's still alive. She survived that explosion?
No, I don't think so.
Because that would be interesting to see what his reaction is to that. Because he doesn't flip out when that TIE fighter blows up the ship. Like, he doesn't turn around and be like, my mom was in there, you. I'm curious to see if he reacted in some way, finding out she was alive. Because next time they're together, it's on Crate, and he's acting like he knows that she's there.
It's almost like, because by the time he gets to Crate, Snoke is dead, and he's had this battle along with Rey, and then against Rey, and then what happens? She escapes.
His advances,
and then
Brock.
she escapes. Yeah. So he's like, I'm in power, and I'm gonna win, and that's gonna be me, blah blah. And then Luke shows up, and he's like, ah. So it's almost like the whole Leia thing is kind of swept away, because I think you're right. Like, it's like if once he got back to the ship, if he had like, where are those pilots, and then executed them, then but it almost seems like that's just a small part of the movie, and it's kind of forgotten.
Wouldn't it be interesting if this whole time he doesn't know, and then in Rise of Skywalker he finds out my mom's still alive? Wouldn't that be neat?
It would be. Absolutely. Kylo and his mom, there's something there. I mean, I think that's true of any boy and his mother. But that could be, I really feel like Leia is this X factor in the whole Kylo Ren arc, and I feel like she has been from the start. That whatever Kylo Ren's ending is tied into Leia on some level. They're just, I know like the Rey thing, whatever, but I think but the boy and his mother, they are connected on some level, and they're the Skywalker blood. The only Skywalker blood left is living between those two.
Plus, like Han's never been a big supporter of the Force, even though in Force Awakens it's like, it's all true. I didn't believe it either, but it's all true. And Han is, tries his best, but I mean, we haven't seen the full story, but at some point, he kind of his son gives up on him for a time, right? Maybe that doesn't really occur with Leia. Leia is attuned with the Force. We don't know if she ever grows it at all, because we just have that gap. But at least she can manipulate the Force, and so they're on the same levels. It's not so much of like every son likes his mother, which is true, but to an extent, which is typical. But I think that could be one of the connections too, and maybe Han is Han, and maybe he pushed him away, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're right, because it's like that's never been addressed, and it could very easily be in his mind that his mother's dead. So like, yeah, I like that a lot. I can get behind that.
Mm-hmm. That could be a big turning point in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about Leia's ultimate. Hey, do you guys think it would be a misstep if they killed off Leia in the film, or do you think like how would you feel if within the first 10 minutes they're like General Leia's gone? For me personally, I would be okay with it, to be honest, as long as it was like it wasn't Akbar-esque, like, oh yeah, and Leia's dead. Let's move on. Yeah. All right.
And they give that line to like Snap Wexley. He's like, "Hey guys, just so you know, Leia died."
Yeah. You watch your mouth, Fantasia. Snap Wexley is a saint.
I don't know how to feel. I think my response to your question is it's what they've done with it so far. I can get behind. J.J. Abrams made choices. Rian Johnson made choices. I'm like, cool. If that's the status quo, cool. And I haven't really disagreed with anything, more or less. Like I always say, I love the Rose Finn plan. Where like, and then we just go in and we zoom out of there, and they're just like, look, like. I've been okay on the story, so if they think Leia needs to die in the first half hour, let's do it, because I think they're gonna bring us on a great story end or story. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. It sucks because it is what it is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would be sad that she dies early. Like as long as her death is done, like you're saying, not in an Akbar-esque kind of way, in a way that is meaningful. I have to be really careful what I say in case of Endgame spoilers, so I'm not going to make an Endgame reference, but I'll make a reference that we don't even know is true yet. But like we're all assuming, judging from what we've seen, that Mystique's going to die in the first like few minutes of Dark Phoenix.
Oh, I didn't know that was the thing.
I feel like that's happening. And it feels like it's just something to get out of the way so the plot can happen, and I don't think it's going to be very ceremonious. As long as it doesn't happen like that, then I'll be okay with however they choose to kill or not kill her. Just keep it respectful to her, and I think they will. I don't have any fear going into this that it's going to be like a poor choice in regards to Leia's fate.
Yeah, I think however they're going to deal with that character way better than I think any other character's demise or farewell. Anyone else's swan song, I think. Because for me, the deaths of Han and Luke, they haven't hit hard. Like, they haven't hit home really with those ones. They both felt kind of But I think Leia's is going to be the K2SO of them all, where you're like, oh my gosh, no!
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was actually sadder when Bodhi died, but whatever. I will promise you guys this, though. Leia will not die of sadness.
But that would actually be perfect. Imagine if like Kylo dies and she's like, well, I'm done. And just like, and then she just like, and then like, how'd you die? Sadness. It's just a family trait. We don't.
It's sadness season. She didn't take her chamomile.
My mother had sadness too.
What if that's how Luke ends up dying? Like he never actually died in The Last Jedi. They bring him back and he's like, I'm dying of sadness, Ben. Your sadness.
It runs in my family, like my mother before me.
I'm really curious how they handle Leia. Ben Solo though is, I think Kylo Ren is aside, like Rey. Everyone loves Rey, but I don't see her turning to the dark side, which would be an amazing twist if they end up doing it. I don't think anyone would see it coming, but I think we're all kind of, set in that okay, she's gonna be the hero now. We're gonna watch her be triumphant and be heroic and be what everybody wanted Luke Skywalker to be in the last one. That's what she's gonna be in this one. But I think everyone is really curious about Kylo and Ben, and do they redeem him or not, Brock?
Again, like whatever they think is the best, let's do it. But I'm gonna stick to my guns. I don't think he needs to be. There doesn't need. Sorry, girls with sabers. There doesn't need to be a Ben-demption. I think there's so many things they need. Well, there's so many theories we have. It's hard to really keep track of what we think is gonna happen in this movie. I don't think he needs to be redeemed. I think as a villain, he can lead us still to a new age of Star Wars. And maybe he still dies a villain, or whatever. Maybe he doesn't die or whatever. I don't know. But like, I don't think he needs to stop being Kylo Ren, because I think being Kylo Ren will get us somewhere. So, no, he does not need to be redeemed. Andrew.
Yeah, no, I've said it before. I'll say it again. However he ends this movie, he's going to end, dead or alive. He's going to end it with a ambiguous ending that's going to have us talking afterwards and theorizing and speculating on Star Wars podcasts like this one about whether or not he turned.
Ooh, I like that. I like that it's kind of like leaves it open-ended. Yeah, I honestly don't know if he's going to be redeemed or not. I'm not sure if I want to see him redeemed 100%. I'm confident whatever they end up doing, I will enjoy. But a part of me feels like, and it was said at the panel, Andrew, you were in a screaming room, so I don't even know if you heard it or not. But Stephen Colbert was moderating that panel, which was then known as the Episode 9 panel. He's moderating the panel, and J.J. Abrams said, I wanted to see the dark and the light fight off against an evil. Like, it was, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along that. And then Stephen Colbert, like, I think all of us were like, took a step back, and Stephen Colbert said, well, I have to ask you, what's this other evil? And J.J. Abrams was like, and then they just brushed it off and didn't do anything. And then, 45 minutes later, we hear Sheevy P's evil laugh. And we know what that greater evil is. And when the trailer ended, we've talked about this, Aaron's first response to me was that Kylo and Rey were training in that scene at the very beginning with flipping over the TIE fighter. Andrew, I know you didn't even think that was Kylo Ren flying it. But then my nephew, who's 9 years old, was like, when he saw Kylo Ren stab the guy, he's like, Kylo Ren's a good guy? Mm-hmm. And when I watched that scene, that didn't really scream good guy to me. But But the thing that's funny about children is they see everything through very, very different eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you want an honest answer to anything, you go to a child. So maybe he doesn't get redeemed, guys, but maybe like there's still that chance that he has to work with Rey, with the Resistance in some capacity.
Well, do you guys remember what I used to say? I don't even know if this was I was going to say before Force Awakens came out, but we did not have a podcast. Yeah. There was some point, like very early days, where I used to say, like, guys, wouldn't it be cool if this new trilogy introduces a third faction? So it's not two factions fighting like we used to. Like, that could be the case here, where it's like whoever Kylo's fighting in that shot, he's fighting them, and Rey's people are fighting them too. But that doesn't necessarily mean Rey and the First Order are teaming up to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a three-way fight.
Yeah,
I could get on board with that.
Like, to go back in Legends, like it's a Yuzan Vong sort of thing. Yeah. Like, that I could, that would be great. Mm-hmm. Not that, like, doesn't have to be Yuzan Vong. Like,
no, I know what you mean.
Like they always have, like, a Black Sun or, what's the one from Solo? Red Dawn? Crimson Dawn. I know. I was like,
but like when the Yuzan Vong showed up, it's like the New Republic fought them and the Imperial Remnant fought them. But those two teams weren't friends. Yeah. They were just like, I'm going to fight these bugs, but if you come to my planet, I'm going to fight you too. Yeah. Like, that sounds cool to me.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think we could be on there. But, the enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever they say. So it could be something like that. And, you say the third faction or whatever, and that's what Sheevy P could be, because he was the ultimate Sith, and Kylo Ren, we've been told numerous times, is not a Sith. Snoke was not a Sith. So that could be
Sheevy P's faction is called the new Sith on the block.
I'd buy into that. What are the never tell me the odds. We're going to do odds in a second, but never tell me the odds that Sheevy P's something to do with Sheevy P ends up with Leia's demise.
That Sheevy P's what? Sorry?
He has something to do with killing Leia.
23%.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 20% low, just because I don't know if he's gonna be alive or Sith ghost or whatever. I think there was someone that said there's no such thing as a Sith fourth ghost. Whatever. Like, whatever he is, I feel he's stuck in one spot. Like we're thinking, I've always said like the Death Star ruins. That's where he's the haunted ghost of the Death Star ruins on like Hill House. I feel like he's stuck there. So I feel like going after Leia is like not because I don't see her being there sort of thing. So I gotta go low. I don't hate it though. I mean, I don't know.
Imagine that's the next movie in the Conjuring universe. It's like a family moves into the Death Star ruins, and it's like, hey, Mom, I saw like a shape in my bedroom last night. And it's like, do it.
Oh, no, it's the senator. It's the chancellor.
Have you seen that meme that says it's General Hux? He goes, today we're gonna destroy the Senate or whatever, and then it's Sheev, and he's like, is that a threat against me? I love Sheevy P. He is the other. But Andrew, you have a video coming that we released earlier in the week, Palpatine Unleashed. My question to you is, because you are the ultimate Sheevy P fan, well, out of the three of us anyway. I think it's arguable. Brock is the wicked.
Are you a Palpa fiend?
Whoa!
That's a T-shirt.
Palpa fiend. How do you right now on the spot? They say Andrew, Ian McDermott's coming back. You can use him if you want. You don't have to use him. Here's the script for Rise of Skywalker, or Episode 9, whatever you want to call it. Write Sheevy P's return.
So they give me a finished script, and I can just throw in Sheevy anywhere.
Well, no, it's like a blank slate. They're like, we haven't said it. You get to do. How would you bring him back? Knowing what you know from Episode 7 and 8, though, obviously.
Right. Well, this is just me, and if you disagree, that's totally fine. I can see like a lot of people not liking this, but I like the idea that he has been, for lack of a better word, horcruxing his way through not even just necessarily things, but folks. And one of those folks could have been Supreme Leader Victor Snoke, and he was just some random guy who, you know, was unfortunate enough to cross paths with Palpatine at one time or another, and Sheevy P was just like, I'm putting my essence in you now. That's not as erotic as it sounds. And then Snoke just became a puppet that had his soul in it. So when Snoke died, it becomes less disappointing for people who really wanted to know more about Snoke, because the answer is Snoke was a random dude who had Palpatine's soul in him, and it was just Palpatine continuing his work in another body.
Yeah, it's like when you die on the battlefield and the Night King brings you back to life, and you're like, WTF?
Oh.
Yeah, no, I can get behind that.
References I don't get.
Tell you, even by the time this comes out, it's still gonna be relevant. So yeah, that'd be awesome.
I still want to know if there was, because when GameStop, EB Games had that Snoke figure, he was Victor. Remember, he was Victor.
Yeah.
That was a code name. How did they come up with that code name? Was it just and what you're saying? And if that's the case, like there's a plan for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we did an Unleashed over a year ago about how, you know, we heard Mark Hamill saying, well, you know, I was powerful in the Force Awakens, and then they had to go back because in Last Jedi I wasn't powerful. And I feel like there was a disconnect for something as minor as that. But I think the overall plan was we have to get here and here so that we can get Sheev back. And I think Rian Johnson might have had the opportunity to bring him back. They might have been like, he's coming back at some point. If you want to bring him back, you can. This is his end game. Essentially, this is Sheevy P's plan. This is where we're going. Because they did say they didn't know how they were going to bring him back. If you remember, they said our plan was always have him back. We didn't know how. And then J.J. Abrams met with George Lucas on how to bring him back. So maybe the whole point of The Last Jedi is that it is The Last Jedi, and Luke has to die in order for, kind of like how back to Avengers in Infinity War, Doctor Strange has to be like, this is the only way, dude. And he gives him the stone thing, and he's like, and he disappears. Because he saw every solution. So this is the only way that this can play out, is for Luke Skywalker to have to die in The Last Jedi.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. Let him play out his course so that we can get to a point where it's like we don't have the Jedi and we don't have the Sith after they deal with whatever Palpatine is got cooked up for them, and then they can start fresh, and balance shall be brought to the Force, because that was important in Episode 1. That whole balance thing. They liked the sound of that.
Yeah, and don't forget, no one's ever really gone.
Andrew, you can do the laugh. All right, let's move on to the actual segment. Never Tell Me
the odds.
Today's odds are brought to us, like always, by our Patreon members.
Hooray!
Brock, we're going to name the Patreon.
Do it.
Yeah, and then we'll announce the winner of the Patreon contest. So, Patreons. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first.
I will go first. So we have Heidi Fedor, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Christine Allison, Mary Kristen Nathan, Jeff Wilson, Aaron Quinton, Al Schuler, Phil Staniforth,
Heather Long, JRB Nerdcast, Scott D, Jacob Nixon, Andy Higgins, Mason Hope, Matt W, FP, and everybody's worst Patreon, Den of Nerds now. Thank you to all of you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Your support means a lot. And as a thank you, today on May the 4th be with you, one of you will go home with, well, you won't go home with it. You will get this sent to you. Star Wars Conquered the Universe by Chris Taylor.
It's a very good book.
It's an excellent book. If you are a Star Wars fan and you have not read it, you should look at the fine print. It's like Andrew. You can't see it. It's too bright. It's like Andrew wrote this book. The words are tiny. All right, you gentlemen want to pick a name?
Right. I'll give you the Chewbacca cup, Andrew, and I will draw from it. Because I don't trust you to not use the Force for your ways.
You ready?
I'm going to...
Okay. No, not that one.
Not this one. Okay.
That one. There you go.
I got it in my hands. And we'll look at it. It says Andrew Fenton. No!
He rigged it. He always does.
Drum roll, please. Aaron Quinton, you are the winner.
Aaron Quinton.
Hooray, hooray.
Own Aaron Quinton. Congratulations. You could drive to Canada and pick up your prize.
It's fine.
We'll leave it in a Dairy Queen parking lot somewhere in the Greater Toronto area.
Along the highway.
We should make it like a second cup, something even more Canadian. All right, so let's go into Never Tell Me the Odds. Congratulations, Aaron. Thank all the patrons. We might have another contest tomorrow for Revenge of the Fifth. Here we go. Never Tell Me the Odds. The first odd, Andrew, I'll start with you. The odds of Rey speaking to Obi-Wan's ghost in The Rise of Skywalker. And this odd is brought to us by Patreon Andy Higgins.
Andy Higgins. I like this.
Oh, yeah, you got to meet him and his son, General Grievous.
That is right. Yeah, his son is really he's a cool kid. He's got the Grievous costume. He's having a lot of fun. I like seeing kids have fun with Star Wars. It warms my heart and soul.
And Grievous is like the best costume. Sorry.
Yeah. So Andy Higgins, you are winning at parenting, sir. I like this odd. I'm gonna give it like a solid 72%. I can see her like standing in like a round room surrounded by the ghosts of every Christmas past. You know, they're all there. They're all there just chilling. They're having a barbecue and they're telling Rey some wisdom.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Like, it's gonna be high, like 80% for me, because as I've said in the past few weeks, I want as many Force ghosts as we possibly can. Let's put it in. Why not? Obi-Wan, you got a guy that can do it. So,
well, if you remember, Rian Johnson thought about putting him in The Last Jedi, but ultimately went with Yoda. He said it was too confusing because he didn't know, because people associate Ghost Obi-Wan with Alec Guinness, and this wouldn't be Alec Guinness. So I'm going to go high as well. Because of that statement, I'm going to go 70.2%. Because of that statement, I feel like part of this game plan was Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be in this sequel trilogy at some point. Rian Johnson, do you want him in it? And he was like, he writes on yellow pad of paper like George Lucas, and he's like, no, I defer to the third movie. And so I'm going to go 70.2% on Rey talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Our next odd, the odds of Chewie and Lando ending the movie together, co-piloting the Millennium Falcon, or co-parenting the Millennium Falcon, because L3 is still on there, so we don't know. But
I'll give this 82%. I like the sound of this. It could go. It could go sideways though, because like the Falcon really, like, who does it belong to right now? It's kind of up in the air. So I think it would be nice for the movie to end with a clear owner, and it'd be nice if that owner was, I don't know if you can see him, but this guy right here. So I would dig that. I just don't know if they're going to shed light on that subject or not. But I'll give it an 82 because I think that's something a lot of people want to see, and they're aware of what people want.
Yeah. I'll agree, because I also was thinking that just now. It's like, it would be nice if Chewbacca stayed with Millennium Falcon, because one, you can continue to put Chewbacca in movies. You can get older and older, but I'm pretty sure Juna Sotama wants to keep doing it. And we know Wookiees have pretty long lifespan, so it'd be kind of neat. I've said it before, it'd be nice if Millennium Falcon is the one thing that goes across most Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. So it'd be kind of cool if you just run into him and he has a new co-pilot, because perhaps Lando has passed on or whatever like that. It would just be neat to be that kind of character. I'm going to go 75% though, because I think the Millennium Falcon might be slightly more important. So, not important. Someone more important like Rey needs to fly it at some point. But.
Right.
I think, however Rey ends this trilogy, she'll be disassociated with the Falcon at the end.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem if she ends up owning the Falcon and flies off and does whatever she does, but I don't know how it's going to end. Obviously, none of us do. We haven't seen it. I'm going to go 65% though, mostly just because I like the idea, not because I think it's going to happen. I do fear that the Falcon's just going to like blow up at some point. The one thing I don't like is like whenever you watch a Star Trek movie, the Enterprise keeps getting blown.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I've had enough of it's like the Batmobile in the old Batman movies. Like even the Dark Knight, they're like, well, it's time to blow up the Batmobile. We're out of options. Like, why? Just let the thing survive. So I hope the Falcon survives. So I'm going to go 65% because I would love the next movie to be the Lando and Chewie buddy duo film on the Falcon. And they're just solving mysteries together.
It's like that movie Old Dogs where those old men go to Vegas. It's that with Lando and Chewie.
That movie was amazing that it got made. And our final odd today on May the 4th be with you. The odds of Rise of Skywalker ending with the text, "The End," on the screen. Brian.
I like it, but I think the average viewer might get a little confused. I mean, they're marketing this as the end of the saga, which is probably confusing a few people, even though like we all know they're gonna continue to make Star Wars movies. The end, it would be nice, but I think if you say the end, then people will be like, I don't understand. Why is there another movie in a year or 2 years or whatever? It said the end, so.
I'm gonna go 96% on that one.
Get out of here.
I feel like that would just be so beautiful. It would have put a nice little pin on everything. And you're right, they are marketing this as the last one.
Yeah.
It would be. I think it would actually help people who aren't huge fans understand that the other movies are different because, like, this says the end, so like they could that could kind of clue them and be like, oh, this is probably another story. I wouldn't go a full 100 just because I think it's very likely that at some point Disney's going to want to do an episode 10 just to cash in on nostalgia in like 25 years. So if they say the end and then do a 10, it might feel weird. So that's the only reason why I think it might not be like 100% certainty.
Yep, I can see. I'm going to do the most May the 4th thing I can do on this one and go full Brock.
Oh my!
I'm going full Brock on this one because if you're going to end it, you might as well end it with the end. And if you think about it, all the old serials that this is based off of used to put that at the end of a lot of their episodes. So I can see that happening 100%. But I also can see them being like, nah, that's not a Star Wars thing. We're not going to do it. So I'm going to go full Brock on the end, appearing at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Speaking of Brock, we're going to go 100% Brock right now for Never Tell. Holo News.
Holo News.
Holo News.
It's Holo News, and it's all the news you need to know in that order. So, I think just this week, or maybe late last week, a bunch of I forget what it always. It's the prototypes. I was like the test pilots. I'm like, that's not it. the prototypes for the 1980s action figures went on auction. There was a Bib Fortuna, there was a Logray, a Royal Guard, and it was a British one, so this will all be in pounds. Bib Fortuna, a prototype, so the head looks normal, the body's a different color, went for 38,000 pounds. An action figure from 1980, and if you've seen them, they're not as great as they are. It's no Black Series, right, Andrew? But when you see them, you're like, ooh. So that sold for $38,000.
How high was your bid, Brock? That's what I want to know.
35 and $1. It sold at Thornby-based Vectis auctions, along with the Logray, which went for 12,000 pounds. And the Emperor's Royal Guard, which reached 28,000 pounds. So these are the ones created in Europe by Palitoy, which I think it might have just been, they made it in Kenner, and then this might have been the British part. I can't remember, but they went more for they went way higher because I think they assumed it would go for about 12,000 pounds. So
wow.
And then in our next story, still talking about child toys, it's May the 4th. You might not have noticed in our episode, but as usual, Microsoft is celebrating as much as they can. And for, I think, the rest of the week or into next week, they will be lowering their prices on all Star Wars games. So for Xbox One, Lego Star Wars will be 50% off. That's The Force Awakens. Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens Deluxe Edition is also 50% off. Star Wars Battlefront is 70%. Star Wars Battlefront, that was the second one. And Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition will go for 75% off. And Star Wars Battlefront Hoth Bundle is now 67% off. An Xbox 360, you can get Lego Star Wars 2, Lego the original trilogy, Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, Lego Star Wars Complete Saga, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, Star Wars Jedi Knight Starfighter, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, Republic Commando, Knights of the Old Republic, The Clone Wars, Republic Heroes, and both Force Unleashed for pretty well all 50 and up % off. So check those out. A lot of these are the redone ones that are in the 4K, so it's remastered and looks way nicer. I'm sure it's still the same gameplay wise, but it's there. So get out there and save your Imperial credits and get some Star Wars stuff. And this has been the Holo News for your May the 4th.
Holo News. Okay, you guys ready for top 5?
Yo.
Oh, no.
Today's top 5 is a different type of top 5.
What?
Yep. You know that. So we polled all of our Patreon and ourselves to come up with a definitive list of top 5 heroes and top 5 villains. I have the list of the top 5 heroes today. Tomorrow on Revenge of the 5th, you'll get the top 5 villains. And it was pretty, I'm not going to lie, I really loved this list because we got a lot of responses, and everybody had, there was like a few that were like on every list very high, and then every once in a while you get like a really cool character, you're like, oh my god, and then nobody else would have them, so they didn't make the list. But it was like, yeah, there's some cool ones. Like I'm not. So
these were much more varied lists than like when we rank the movies.
Well, there's only 10 movies and there's 4,000 heroes and villains. So, like, some of my favorite ones, I'll just say, were like Captain Rex was on one of the lists.
Nice.
Only one, and I think only one. And I was like, oh, that was so amazing. Not mine though, but anyway. So top 5. Yeah, you guys want to get into it?
Sure.
Number 5. Andrew, give your opinion first, and then Brock, hear what you have to say about number 5. This one, a little bit lower on the list than I expected. Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, interesting.
Very nice. You know what? I can't remember now if I had her on my list, because I remember sending this list to you not too long ago either. No. And I feel like I would have had her close to the top 5. I think that considering how new she is still to canon, I think it's very impressive that she has made after polling so many people, especially considering what the initial reaction was to her. Like that makes me proud. I'm proud that Ahsoka reached number 5. Like that is a tough bar set by other characters like Luke and Han and Leia. So the fact that she got that far, yeah, girl, rock it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put her on my list either, but I think she's a fantastic character, and it's so exciting when they're putting her in more and more shows, and it's just like Ashley Eccleston is all in on this character. You can continue to use her, and she's, I don't know, she seems quite young, so that voice isn't going to change anytime soon. So yeah, I think it's great that she cracked like what, like 3 years ago we'd be like, I don't think she's that popular, but it's been a big change for that character.
It's amazing, and you kind of gotta hope that with the Mandalorian coming and Filoni doing the Mandalorian, that maybe at some point he gets to make his Ahsoka film. Where it could be animated, could be live action. Disney Plus, start making those films. I'd be all about that. All right, number 4. Number 4 was actually my number 1 or 2. I don't even remember. It was the number 1 or 2 for me. That is my favorite Jedi, Anakin Skywalker.
Oh,
wow!
Before he turns into that jerk Vader, Anakin is mine. I was actually, you know what? Anakin was high on mine, and he showed up on several lists, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't really expect Anakin to appear, but I think what I saw from the list was the Clone Wars. You won't see it in the top 3, but the Clone Wars had a huge impact on a lot of people's lists, but they were all different characters from the Clone Wars, and Anakin and Ahsoka were 2 that really kind of stuck. So Brock, Anakin.
I think it's great. I will say this, on my top 5, he was the only Jedi character, because I sort of wanted to pick from every different sort of category of Star Wars, and quite frankly, I think Anakin's a more interesting character than Luke, which I know is weird to say because he's like the original Jedi that we learned with, but I just think, because of whatever, we've never been really able to flesh out Luke in the normal canon. I mean, we're slowly getting some books on it, but and I know Legends went crazy with it, and I love it. That's very interesting. I think what the Legends created with Luke is what inevitably Filoni did with Anakin in Clone Wars and I guess Rebels. So I was like, oh, this is way more exciting. So I went with him. So yeah, I'm good. I'm glad he made it.
I'm actually surprised, pleasantly surprised that he's in the top 5, because I always figured, people will love on Vader, but Anakin, he kind of gets brushed to the side. I don't remember ever talking to anybody being like, who's your favorite character? And they're like, Anakin.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see him up there. And it's just a testament to how well Clone Wars rocked the prequel era storytelling, that, he could become somebody that everybody loves to talk about.
Yeah. It's
Yippee!
Yippee! Yeah. You know what? I brought this up a few times, but when I watched the prequels with Aaron a few years ago, a little while later, we watched the original trilogy on VHS, the widescreen on VHSs, and it was the first time that I ever I could hear Anakin and Vader when he was talking, and honestly, I think Lords of the Sith might have played a huge impact on it, because that was the first book where you actually hear what's in Vader's head, what he's thinking, and he thinks about Padme, and maybe I was associating that with when he asked about Padme when he first kind of becomes a machine, and then that. And it made me look at the prequels and it made me look at the original trilogy in a whole new light that I thought was fascinating to see. Number 3, she will always be royalty to me. Princess Leia. Princess General Leia?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Kneesa from Ewoks, but okay.
No, it's actually Bail Organa. Bail, I don't think was on anyone's list, and we need to call Jimmy Smits and get him to comprise the list. It's Leia. I think this can make it's a lot of sense. She is one of the strongest characters in Star Wars. She is our last surviving member of the original trio. I mean, Chewie keeps getting shafted when we talk about it. Spoiler alert, he's not even on the top 5. Brock actually had Chewie on 4 of his. Tops. It was all Chewie. How can you have a top 5 without Leia? She. I think her and the next 2 obviously are embodiments of what Star Wars is to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's Princess Leia. She's the reason we went down this rabbit hole of Star Wars. And Carrie Fisher was an amazing person, very unique, and so It makes sense. I mean, it's one of the first. I don't want to say first, but one of the most like prominent female character in modern sort of fiction movie theater. So it's something a lot of people, a lot of females model themselves on. That the fact that she's a princess, but she's also a soldier.
Yeah.
So.
And she like in an era when I'm assuming I wasn't around in 1977, kids, but in an era when geek culture stuff like this was not very numerous to begin with, and B, not all that great to women characters.
Yeah.
I think that she may have been the first one to be like, no, let's make this lady interesting because ladies can be interesting too. So let's make her, not just a person like who's just like, help me. Like she is a fully fleshed out character who just takes everybody to school when it comes down to combat. I am very like I'm never not happy to see Leia.
Yeah.
Whenever Leia pops up in anything, and she pops up in new canon like so much. Like she's in like so story group loves her too. So the fact that she's on this list is a no-brainer.
And nobody writes Leia like Claudia Gray.
I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, Luke, the original Jedi. It's when you say Star Wars, you say Luke Skywalker. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's not number one. So, but that makes it more interesting. Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't remember 100%. James, you might know better than me, but I think he was number 2 on my list as well. Like I think he fell on this sweet spot.
Yeah.
Luke's my boy. He's been like my hero since I've seen the movies, and he's still my hero now. Even though he's a crusty old man who drinks green milk, he's still just the coolest cat in the galaxy. If I could have a conversation with anybody in the Star Wars universe, it would be him. And like, what's there else to say? But he's Luke, mother effing Skywalker.
Yeah, he's Luke Skywalker. There's nothing to be said. He's super cool, and he blonde hair, and so did I. Number one, I'm going to announce it, but I have to just get on my soapbox and say there's no Jar Jar on this list, and I'm not very happy about that. But we'll move on, and life will go on. And so tomorrow we're going to do top 5 Remember we did top 5 Jar Jar moments? Was that your first top 5, Andrew? That was like the best top 5 ever was top 5 Jar Jar moments. All right, and number 1, he had his own movie that nobody went to go see except Brock and I went to see it twice. His name is Han Solo. Han Solo, brought to you in part by Maz Kanata. Andrew, how disappointed are you that people like Han Solo? Because you don't find him interesting at all.
No, he's a bland character, and I don't care for him. This
just turn up.
My levels have just gone down. Hashtag Andrews never can.
I thought you got louder.
He was not on my top 5. I have nothing against Han Solo. I just always found the other characters even more interesting than him. But this is a no-brainer. Like, as soon as James asked me, like, who's your top 5? I was like, okay, Han's going to be the number 1 if there's, a general average being pulled, because everybody loves Han Solo.
Yeah.
And the fact that, his arc was so complete in the original trilogy, I think that attracted people even more. Like, they saw this person, like, Luke was always a good dude from start to finish. Like, his arc was a different kind of arc. Han's arc was much more visible, and you could track like how he changes as a human being. And I think that just resonates with people, even if they're just kids when they watch it and they don't realize, they feel like, ooh, that was special. What Han went through in these 3 movies was special.
Everybody likes the bad boy, right, Brock?
Yeah, he's got a cool car and he's got a fun dog. It's great.
I don't know. I from what I read, he is Chewbacca's dog because Chewbacca lives longer than him. This is May the 4th be with you. That's the top 5 brought to you by our Patreon and us, and it was all of our Patreon members, me, Brock, Andrew, Rob, and Aaron, and so you could blame us for that list of top 5. I thought it was fun though. I think it's fun, because you get to like I'll send you guys privately a bunch of the top 5s because they were kind of cool. Like some of them that you saw, like. Just you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that character. So my top 5 was, I wrote mine before I read other people's just so I wasn't influenced by them, because I would have had a list of 40. because it was awesome. All right, guys, thanks so much. This was fun. If you guys like this, give us a subscribe, a thumbs up, all that stuff that you do on YouTube. If you're still watching, if not, you can be sleeping. That's fine also.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Podcast.
It's gonna be May.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.